Morning, everybody. How's it going? Happy Tuesday. Today we are talking about why doing the work is hard, necessary, and always worth it. So what do I mean when I say the work? The work being personal development, the work means therapy, the work means showing up for yourself and working on the things that you know that you need to do better at or be better at or process. We go through so much in life. For instance, COVID, processing that properly and working on your perspective and mindset around surviving that in the best way possible is work. It does take effort to do that. So if you're someone who maybe has gone through something traumatic or stressful or even going through grief, that is all part of life and work. And a lot of us can spend time just like forgetting about it or tucking it away or shuffling it under the rug and not dealing with it. And so I want to share a couple of things that might consequences that happen when you don't deal with the work. I want to share why it's so worth it, why it's okay that it's hard, and at the end of the day, why it's just necessary. If you want to show up as the best version of yourself, if you want to show up and live this life to the fullest in the best way you possibly can, because I don't believe that you can show up as the best version of yourself if you don't do your work. And everybody has their own work. Nobody is, born into this world without anything, without any hard stuff coming up, without anyone's, shit deflecting onto them. So let's first start with why the work is so important, and then I'm going to also share the work that I'm presently dealing with right now, so you guys have maybe some examples. So, if we don't deal with our shit, we don't deal with our work, we will deflect it onto other people, and normally the people we deflect our shit on is the people we're closest with, the people we love the most. Sometimes we deflect that onto strangers in the moment, and we also deflect it onto future opportunities or future relationships. So, for instance, a lot of us maybe have been through unhealthy or toxic relationships, let's say. If we don't deal with the work, our limited beliefs that came from that, the habits we chose to pick up just to get through that relationship, we're going to deflect it onto the next person that we move into a relationship with. We'll assume that they have the same habits. We'll assume they're thinking the same things. We'll have the same survival mechanisms and habits because that's what we've picked up. This is same when you do something really difficult. Like, for instance, the gym. So I grew up in a dance studio. I never went to a gym. I had knee surgery. I was going to physiotherapy in a gym, and it was my first experience into movement and foam rolling and weight training and all those things. So I really loved it. I was super excited about it, but I was uncomfortable at the same time. Then I went to college. I had a free gym membership there, so I went. Still uncomfortable. I still didn't really know what I was doing. I was watching other people, really uncomfortable, and I was also really aware of all the guys there. So I was like really mindful of what I was wearing, and I didn't want to look stupid, and I was a little bit more insecure with my body at the time, and so I really let that affect my experience at the gym instead of going in there feeling confident and doing my research with a plan or even talking to a trainer at the time. Like, I didn't do those things, and I just really allowed myself to be uncomfortable the whole time, and I still tried to show up, but it's just, I didn't really get the most out of it. Then moving in, I work at home all the time. I always will. But going to the gym is a different experience, and I think it's important because for me, becoming comfortable in a gym was work. It took a lot of effort for me. I got my personal training certification. I got my nutrition certification just to educate myself. I made friends at the gym. I made friends with trainers. And so now when I go, it's a much more enjoyable experience. Do I go every single day? No, because it's not my jam to go every single day. I love my workouts at home. But has it been work to get to the other side of that and to show up feeling confident? Yes, and I'm still in that process. But it's worth it. It's worth it now that I can go and not feel that insecurity and know that 5 years ago, walking into a gym probably would have given me like an anxiety attack. So I want you to think about yourself. What are things that scare you or are fearful? And how can you show up and work on that? How can you dissect that. And so for me, I always talk about personal development, reading books, listening to podcasts, but a really major one that I haven't talked about much on here, but I want to talk about more, is going to therapy. I'm a big fan of therapy, and I know it's a privilege to be able to go. There's a lot of apps that allow therapy to be more accessible for everyone. But therapy is a way of holding yourself accountable. It's why I'm a coach, because people hold their health and fitness goal. I hold their health and fitness goals accountable for them. So I go to therapy so that she can hold my work and hold me accountable to doing it. So right now, for instance, the work that I'm dealing with is self-judgment and inner talk. Apparently, I'm really mean to myself. Apparently, I talk to myself really rudely on a regular basis, and I judge myself for the thoughts that I'm experiencing, for the emotions, for my actions. And I would not, like, those are things that were happening consciously in my head. They still are. But I maybe wouldn't have recognized that unless when we were in conversation, she's asking me intelligent questions, that she would say, I think that this is something that you're dealing with. And then we dig deeper, and I say, yes, that makes sense, and this resonates. And so her expertise in that helped me to dissect that, yes, there's a lot of self-judgment going on here, and I'm really mean to myself. And then we came up with action steps as to what I can do in the moment, day to day, to break that down and get better. So I know that work is necessary because I have lots of goals. Hello, namaste. Yes, hope you guys are doing well in India. We're thinking of you guys a lot. So I know that doing that work is really important and necessary because I have a list of goals, I have a vision for my life, I have people I want to show up for well, and if I keep showing up with that negative self-talk, it's not going to help anybody. So when she said that, was that hard for me to process? Yes. Was I like, oh yeah, I do talk to myself like crap? Yes, that's true. That was hard. And even having to do the work every single day is hard. Do I want to sit in meditation and feel all the feelings and hear myself? No, that's uncomfortable and it sucks. Will I have to do that forever and ever and ever? No, because those feelings are going to process, and I'm going to get to the other side of that, and I'm going to learn how to speak to myself more kindly. And sometimes these are just seasons. So, a few months ago, I had like an episode. I had some shit go down, and we all have shit in our life go down. And so I'm still dealing with some of the aftermath of those things because that's how the mind works. We are humans, and we're fragile sometimes, and we're affected by situations. So I want you to recognize for yourself that maybe you know that you have work to do, and it's hard to admit, and it's really uncomfortable to talk about, and that's totally normal. Totally normal. I want you to find somebody or something to help you. And so maybe that's picking up a book. Like I am going to read Judgment Detox by Gabrielle Bernstein, and I'm going to think about it in a way that reflects back self-judgment. So I have a resource. I know that. And then I also have therapy. Maybe go to a therapy app. Maybe it's like there's so many resources, and talk to the people who hold you close, your close-knit friends, even, to explore what those resources are. Or just do some Googling, but doing that work is important and necessary. And it's worth it because if you're on here and you're watching this and you are like me, you want to show up well. You want to show up strong. You want to feel happy. You want to pursue your dreams. You want to make the most out of this time on this planet, and that requires doing the work. It's easy. It's easy to just shove things under the rug. And then one day maybe you have a big blowout and you get angry and everything sucks and you're pissed off and then you wake up the next day and you go on. But I'm choosing, and you're choosing, because you're watching this, to deal with it. Because it's worth it. So I hope that was helpful today. I hope it gave you a little bit of insight that doing the work is hard and it's not easy, and maybe some personal development people make it look like it's some big glorious thing. And even myself, I post fun summer pictures of being on the beach and I'm having a great time, but that doesn't mean that I'm not still doing the work, and it doesn't mean that it's not still hard sometimes, but it's worth it. And I feel so much better when I look back on the work that I already have dealt with and I already have processed. And I think another big thing that I want you guys to feel and recognize is that when you start doing the work consistently, and maybe you already are, and think about this for yourself, is that when something does happen, you know already that you're going to get through it. There's already this underlying love and confidence for it within yourself, and strength, this inner strength, and even inner peace to some degree, that this is hard. In this moment, what you're feeling sucks, but you know you're going to get through it. There's been moments in my life where I say, I'm going to have to deal with the aftermath of this later. Or a year from now, I know that I'm going to have to deal with this. I already know those things because I follow people who have experienced hardship. I follow entrepreneurs, but I know that I'll get through it to the other side because I care about my personal growth. I value my personal growth because I recognize that it has a ripple effect on everybody around me, and the people around me I care about, like just like you care about your family and the people you work with and your team, your personal growth affects them. And so maybe that's your why at the beginning, is because it matters, because it affects your kids, or it affects your partner, it affects your business partners, etc. So that's today. I don't even know how long I was on for, but doing the work. Hard, yes. Necessary, yes. Worth it, yes. Hope you guys have a really great day. Feel free to chat and reach out with any thoughts, or if you want to just kind of chit-chat more about this subject. And let's have a kick-ass Tuesday.